This is Larry Jordan, the host of the Digital Production Buzz. The following interview is an excerpt from a recent program. To hear the entire program, visit digitalproductionbuzz.com. Jen Grisanti is the president of Jen Grisanti Consulting, a successful story and career consultant who worked with Aaron Spelling for 15 years. She was involved on a daily basis on the executive side of scripts for such shows as Charmed, Medium, Numbers, 90210, CIS, that's NCIS, and many more. Jen will be with the upcoming WonderCon convention with a panel entitled Hollywood Consultant Secrets, Your Story to Success. Hello, Jen. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Hi, Jen.
We are delighted to have you. How would you define a story and career consultant? I mean, stories and careers don't seem to be related at all.
In this town, story and career are very intricately linked. As far as I would define it as, like, when I talk story consultant, I work with anybody who has a story and is interested in knowing how to tell and sell their story. And it could be TV writers, film writers, it could also be novelists, it could also be entrepreneurs who want to understand how to better tell and sell their personal story. And it goes in fiction and in life. With writers, not only do they need to know how to sell their stories on the page, they need to understand how to communicate their personal stories that establish why they are the perfect writers for the projects they're on. Well, and then with career consultant, it's just looking at where people are and where they want to go, and then designing proposals that will help them to reach their destination.
You sound like a manager agent.
The difference is my service is a fee-based service where writers pay me on a per-project basis, so I don't take a percentage.
No, you actually sound like a manager agent who should be like you, but who usually are not.
I cannot tell you how many agents and managers and entertainment attorneys are like, Jen, I want to take on your business
model. Exactly.
You worked with Aaron Spelling for 15 years. What were you doing with him?
I started as his assistant in 1992. My first day on the job, 90210, had been in its second year, and Melrose Place was being cast the day that I started.
Are you serious? Wow.
Yes.
That dates you. Now we know your age.
She started when she was 3, Michael. Pay attention.
Exactly. You started when you were 17.
After you worked with Aaron, I mean, you could not have picked a better person to work with, somebody that's so totally focused on story and developed such incredible shows. What's the biggest thing you learned in working with him?
I would say the biggest thing I learned about story was really recognizing how to shape the opening, how to build the act break so you're ending on the right moment, and how to communicate with writers in a way that they hear and understand the note versus shutting you down by getting defensive because of the note.
So really, it sounds more like timing than storytelling.
Like with my experience with Aaron Spelling, it came at a perfect time for me when I graduated from USC and didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. And by having him as a mentor for 12 years, I climbed the ladder of current programming and eventually ran current programming at his company, and had the gift of being exposed to him on a daily basis with regards to story, and then seeing my notes made on up to 5 shows a week. So you really got to see what works and what doesn't work.
What, I know that we don't have a lot of time, but what does it mean by running current programming?
Yes. So development develops and creates the shows. Then once the pilots are sold at upfronts in New York and it becomes a series, then it comes into the current programming department, And then it was my job to work with the showrunners and creators on staffing their shows with writers and directors, and then working from story concept to outline to script to screen.
Oh my God, there must have been a lot of arguments.
Stories are legendary of network executives giving notes which make absolutely no sense and drive everybody up the wall. How do you make your notes actually make sense as opposed to simply showing what kind of influence you've got?
I mean, when you're working at a studio or a network, you do have to somewhat abide by the agenda of the studio or the network. So your notes could be different based on where you're at and what the incentive is and getting the story where you want it to be to make the sponsors happy, so on and so forth. Whereas as a story career consultant, I don't have a studio or a network agenda. My only agenda is to help the writer make their story the best that it can be.
Would a wonderful job be the current programming for a cable company where you didn't have sponsors to speak to? Would you love that?
Do you know, I have to admit, like, I was in the studio executive world for 12 years. I've been on my own for 7 years, and I've written 3 books, and I've traveled the world speaking. So I honestly have no desire to go back. I'm very happy where I am.
As long as you're happy where you are, that's the important thing.
One of the things you mentioned earlier is that you provide fee-based services as opposed to taking a percentage of a show. And I went on your website and I was looking at all the different things that you provide, from like reading it for the first time to going in depth on a film script. What help do your typical writers need? What is a typical problem that they need help with then? And what is the most common request they make of you?
I would say, on average, what writers need is to elevate their story so that their story is in a strong enough place to either get them representation, sell their script, or get on staff. So I think the goal of my experience, like, I work with writers at the baby level, to the mid-level, to the upper level. So every need is different. I could work with a mid-level writer who either just sold a pilot and wants to work with me on that pilot, from a baby writer who just got out of college and has no idea how to become a working television writer and needs to build their writing portfolio, to a co-executive producer who's kind of hit a standstill in his or her career and needs to figure out how to redefine their path so that they are working in a strong direction.
Can you actually give them a sheet of paper how to redefine their path? I mean, little steps and bullet points and Zen kind of things to do. It's like, I mean, I would love that. Make it easy for me.
Let her answer.
It is, it is an interesting thing. Like, I have one person at the very high level come to me who wanted this exact outcome, and it was really about listening to the story, understanding where wrong turns were taken, and understanding how to rectify that to get the career back on path.
You're going to be speaking at WonderCon. What's the panel and when is it?
I'm doing a pitch panel with ABC at 3:30, and then I am doing a story consultant panel at 4:30.
Can people still attend, and would you like them to come visit you?
I would love for them to come. Yes, it absolutely. We are looking forward to it. I know we have a lot of signups already, so we're very excited about it.
Quickly, all my post-production fans are so into WonderCon.
So what's the website for WonderCon? Where can people go to learn where your session is?
They can go to the WonderCon website. They can also, I will be posting it on Facebook and Twitter. I already have many times, so they can go to my Facebook page. Jen Grisanti Consultancy is my business page.
And wait, slow that one down.
I'm liking her now.
What's your website? Because we are running out of time. Where do people go to learn more about you?
JenGrisanti.com.
For those of you taking notes, that's JenGrisanti, JenGrisantiConsultancy.com. Jen, thanks for joining us. It's wonderful to have you with us.
All right. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
I just like